This is probably the most excited I've ever been about the topic of a YouTube video, and that's because today we're talking about banana trees, and I have this guy right here, and I'm really excited about it. Now, I have a bunch of different varieties of banana trees out here, including these dwarf Cavendish behind me, and those new banana trees that I'm so excited about. But before we get into talking about specific varieties, let's talk about banana trees in general, what makes them so unique and interesting, and how to care for them. When we talk about banana trees, we're talking about plants from the family Musaceae, most, but not all of which, produce the fruit that you're likely familiar with from the grocery store. Now, these are tropical plants that require a lot of warm sunlight and a ton of water. And this is because a banana tree is not a tree in the traditional sense, where it has bark, phloem, cambium, sapwood, heartwood, etc., but instead it has a pseudostem, a tightly rolled collection of leaves, which is responsible for the interesting way that it grows. Now, instead of gradually stretching upwards towards the sky, occasionally shooting out a branch here and there like an ordinary tree, banana trees grow by unfurling one leaf at a time from the top of the pseudostem. This leads to their unique appearance, where they're one thin stem with a large head of leaves at the top. Now, because of the unique composition of the pseudostem compared to an ordinary tree trunk, bananas are particularly thirsty trees. They're also particularly hungry for potassium. Most of you are probably aware that bananas contain a ton of potassium, and this is because banana trees draw a ton of potassium from the soil that they're planted in. So proper care of a banana tree involves making sure they're planted in a warm climate, they get plenty of water, ideally 2 to 3 inches twice a week, and they have plenty of potassium in their soil. I usually give them an infusion of potash twice a year in spring and early winter. Another interesting thing to note about a banana tree is its unique life cycle. Unlike a typical fruit tree, say a mango or papaya tree, each pseudostem of a banana tree will only ever produce a single cluster of fruit and then never produce again. For this reason, most people cultivating banana trees will just chop that pseudostem down after it's produced its bundle of fruit. This will typically happen in the tree's second year, although that can vary depending on care. This is why you won't normally see a bunch of tall banana trees when somebody is raising them for fruit. Right now, some of you might be asking yourselves, since we're apparently going around chopping down our banana trees after they give us one bundle of bananas, and you've probably noticed that at least cultivated varieties of bananas don't contain any viable seeds, where is it that baby banana trees come from? Baby banana trees actually grow up off the root structure of the parent tree. Now, they can be left here to grow right where they are. This is why it's so important to cut down the old pseudostem after it's produced to make room for the smaller trees to grow up in its place. Or they can be carefully separated and transplanted to a separate location where they can start their own cluster of banana trees. So now that we've covered all the basics of banana trees in general, let's take a look at some different varieties. I have 4 here on this property. Each one is special for a different reason, so let's take a look at them all. First, we have the Cavendish banana. The Cavendish banana tree is unique solely for its lack of uniqueness. The Cavendish banana tree is the default banana that you find in the grocery store. A fun fact about the Cavendish banana, it was not always the default banana that you would find in grocery stores. Until the 1960s, that title was held by a banana called the Gross Michael, which is a pretty rare banana nowadays. And that's because in the 1950s and 60s, a fungal condition known as the Panama disease came and wiped out the vast majority of the Gross Michael bananas, forcing farmers to switch to the Cavendish. They're easy to get to bear fruit, which I think is why they're so popular in cultivation. And a great thing about them for beginners is there's no mystery as to whether or not you're going to like the taste and texture of this banana. You know if you like bananas. If you like bananas, you like Cavendish bananas. Now, this one is a little bit deceptive because I only just got it a month ago from a friend for the purposes of doing this video. Cavendish banana trees, if they have one downside, it's that they're very tall. They top out at 8 to 10 meters, or about 25 to 33 feet tall. But say you wanted the ease and the consistency of a Cavendish banana tree, but you didn't have room for a 10-meter tall tree. These are dwarf Cavendish banana trees. You'll notice they're considerably smaller even than my full-size Cavendish banana tree, despite the fact that these are actually a lot older. These were offshoots from one of the dwarf Cavendish banana trees that I cultivated last year. Now, the dwarf Cavendish is a mutation of the standard Cavendish banana. The banana tastes very similar despite being smaller, and the tree itself is a lot smaller, at about like 3 to 4 meters tall maximum, which is about 9 to 12 feet. It has a lot of the same advantages of the traditional Cavendish banana, but doesn't take up as much space. The trade-off for that being that you don't get quite as big of a harvest or quite as large of a fruit. But what if we wanted to take these mutated dwarf Cavendish bananas and mutate them again and see if we could make something even cooler out of them? Enter the double Mahoy banana tree. Now, earlier I told you that every banana pseudostem produces one bundle of fruit and then never produces again. Since we're apparently going around chopping down our banana trees after they give us one bundle of bananas, and that's true for every banana tree I know of except for these. The double Mahoy banana tree is a mutation of the dwarf Cavendish that lives up to its name. It produces 2, and occasionally even a 3rd, bundle of bananas before the pseudostem is no longer fertile. Being a mutation of the dwarf Cavendish, and therefore the Cavendish itself, it shares the flavor and a lot of the properties. I would say that double Mahoy bananas tend to be a little bit sweeter, and they're typically classified as more of a dessert banana. They do tend to be a little bit harder to get to fruit. They need to have a little bit more of a rigid care requirement met before they'll start to bear fruit. However, the big advantage to these guys being that out of every banana tree that I can think of, the ratio for fruit to space that you are using is the highest in the double Mahoy. Now we get to the reason that I'm so excited about making this video. Behind me are blue Java banana trees, called that because their bananas have a really pretty blue color. They're also known as vanilla ice cream bananas because supposedly their bananas have the taste and texture of vanilla ice cream. Now, admittedly, everything I know about the blue Java banana, I know from reading about it, because up until a couple of days ago, I have never once cultivated these things. I've never owned one until literally 2 days ago. But when I started my field guide, this is one of the fruiting plants that I absolutely had to raise and was so curious about. Blue Java banana trees are mid-sized banana trees, coming in at between 4.5 and 6 meters tall, or about 15 to 20 feet. Other than their unique look and taste, another reason that they're prized is because out of all banana trees, blue Java bananas are known to be particularly resistant to wind and cold, due to having stronger root structures and a more rigid pseudostem. Unlike all the other banana trees that we've talked about here today, which were all Musaceae bananas, the blue Java banana tree is actually what's called an ABB hybrid of Musaceae and another type of banana tree, which I believe is called Musa bulbensiana or bulbensiata or something like that. They are really cool, and out of everything that I've grown, probably since childhood, this is the one thing that I am most excited to see fruit. I'm going to cut it off there today because there are so many different types of banana trees. These are all the ones that I own. I can probably name off another 50. There are banana trees that have red bananas. There are banana trees that don't produce bananas at all. And there's probably another 200 different varieties of banana trees that I've literally never even heard of. I would recommend probably starting with one of the 4 we talked about today, but go out and do your own research and see if anything interests you maybe more than these did. Other than that, I'm going to cut it off right here because I made a promise to get this video up by Christmas Day, and it is currently Christmas Day, which means that I need to go shoot all of the B-roll really fast and then edit it all together, which I actually started doing already. But hopefully you guys will like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time.